Good morning. It is Wisdom Wednesday, and I am Deanna Gott. For those of you who do not know, simply because the fact that I am live, I tend to stumble over my words, and that's just the way that it goes for me. So today we're actually going to start a brand new journey with these Wisdom Wednesday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the next several weeks and we're going to break this up into several different parts on how to use your kit oils, how to share about your kit oils, and just to get way more comfortable with the oils and the products from Young Living than what you may currently be. So to start with this series, I have to start with our family story. About 20, almost 21 years ago, my son, who is almost 21, was a very, very sick baby. He had ear infections all the time. Seriously, all the time. This mama was extremely tired. He would go on nursing strikes constantly, didn't want to nurse, just would scream. And so I was exhausted and I was looking for a better way. By the time he was 7 months old, he had used every antibiotic that they could give a child, and some of them twice, because he had had so many ear infections. And so I was a very young mama. I was only 20 years old myself. And I didn't know to do anything other than what was the norm, and which was he gets sick, you take him in. So what we started to find was that his immune system was just going further and further and further down, and it was just a very disheartening time. It was just a hopeless time for me. One of my friends at that time, she asked me, she said, Deanna, have you ever considered natural health and natural means to help him with his ears? And so I was like, no, but I'm totally open and willing to do that. I just need to know how to do that. So she put me in touch with a lady in a town nearby us. And this lady was an herbalist, and she taught me so much. I mean, seriously, she just kind of took me under her wing and just poured into me. And she taught me about how our immune system responds to antibiotics, how our immune system responds to vitamins and herbs and minerals. And so we started Jay on a regimen that I believe really did save his hearing. We were looking at possible hearing loss because of the scar tissue in his ears being so bad. And so here I am, a very young mom, and I dove into this. We were like seriously like pumping his little body so full of everything. I had people telling me constantly that he smelled like a roast because we would drop garlic oil in his ears at least 3 to 4 times a day, just trying to combat the raging infection that was going on in there, and not using antibiotics. In fact, the last antibiotic he has ever had to this day, which is awesome, he was 10 months old and had the worst ear infection he'd ever had. He actually got it on the antibiotic. And so we were just looking for different means. I was looking for different means. I was very much exhausted and needed something more. So that started me on a journey of 20 years of studying what God has actually placed in our hands for our healing. Ezekiel 47:12 says, I've given you the leaves of the trees for your healing. And so that was a scripture that just kind of became my mantra, and just I was constantly looking. I have a ton of books. If you've ever been to my house, you'll see a ton of books on the top of my bookshelf, full of herbal remedies, herbal like how to like find herbs in your yard. I was just like, I was that kind of person. And I became so interested in that, and not just interested, but we actually cultivated that lifestyle. My children have never been the kids that would get a sore throat and be like, oh my gosh, I gotta go to the doctor. You know, they just knew, okay, mom will make them gargle with salt water and it will get better. And so they weren't raised in that whole got to go to the doctor for everything kind of mindset. So you fast forward to 2014, actually 3 years ago today, I was invited by a friend of mine to go to a Young Living essential oil class. And the night before, she had actually come in from Houston and was staying with us for her to attend this class. And she was talking about these oils and everything, and I was kind of, listening, but I thought that she was talking about biblical oils, because her and her husband used to pastor in a church close to us. And so I was kind of like trying to put together what she was talking about with what I thought she was talking about. And at the same time, my husband had got into poison ivy. And I guess probably about a week before, he was trimming up some grapevines that we have, and there was poison ivy all in there, and he got it bad. It was like from his shirt sleeve all the way to his wrist, on both arms. It was horrible. And so he was miserable. We were doing everything I knew to do. I was using the natural stuff that I had used before. I was giving him antihistamines morning and night, and he was still just one miserable guy. And so I asked her when she started telling me about these oils, and I realized that they were not biblical oils, that they were, they were, but not what I was thinking. I asked her, okay, what would you use? Well, she had a cool little pocket reference book, and she opened it up and it told her which oils to use. And these are 2 oils that we literally keep in stock all the time. It's lavender and Melrose essential oil. We really do try to not run out of these oils ever. So she made him up a little mixture, and we put it on him the next day, and he went off to work. I wound up going to her class, and many of you guys know or have heard from Heather Brown. Heather Brown is, she was at that time, she was a missionary, and she was over here on furlough, and she was teaching this oil class. And the whole time I'm just sitting there listening. I was not a hard sell, because I had 20 years of learning that God really did provide so many of our needs. He's provided for them already. So it wasn't a hard sell at all. I was actually very intrigued and very much decided this is the way I want to go. This is what I want to dive into and start using these for my family. Well, during the class, Tony was at work and experiencing great things with these 2 oils. And so after the class was over, I was filling out the enrollment things with my friend, and Tony sent me a text message and said, I don't care what these oils cost, you get them because they work. I haven't itched at all today. And so that was just I didn't tell him I was already doing it. I was just okay, this is what we're doing. That was his stamp of approval. And so we got on Essential Rewards right away. Melrose does not come in the Premium Starter Kit, and so I got this. I also got Digest, which now currently comes in the Premium Starter Kit, but at that time it did not. And so I got those 2 oils on Essential Rewards coming to our house, and along with the Premium Starter Kit. And we literally just fell completely head over heels in love with these oils. They became our go-to. I still do use some dry herbs, not nearly as often as I did. My brain still automatically thinks that when someone asks me a question, I will automatically think dry herb form. But what blew my mind was that I learned that the oils are actually 400 to 600 times stronger than their dry herb counterpart. That was huge to me because I have all of this history with dry herbs. I have all this history of making tinctures. I have all this history of just learning about the actual herb that I can get my hands on, and to find out that these oils, the actual oil that comes from that herb, is 400 to 600 times stronger than that dry herb was just mind-blowing to me. And so I began to change my mindset from dry herbs to these little bottles of oil. And when I tell you guys that they've made a difference, they have made a huge difference in our lives. We use them from everything from exercise to when we have a dry, scratchy throat, from I put it in my hair. We do everything with oils now. And so my goal is, as a Young Living distributor, and as I consider myself more as a Young Living educator, then is to actually educate you on how to use these products and how they can become part of your life, and how you don't have to think about something, how it's just a natural means. If you start needing something, then you go to the oils. That it's not something that you have to actually fight with yourself on. So we are going to start this journey, and it's going to be a lot of fun. This is the first video. That is all I'm going to share for the first video. Next Wednesday, we're going to dive right into the Premium Starter Kit and start talking about these oils and how they have revolutionized our life, our health and wellness. And I hope this helps you. I hope that you get a picture of not just what the oils can do, but who we are as individuals and who we are as family. And I'm looking forward to it. And we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.